All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? This is Johnny, wherever you are in the world. I say welcome. It is Wednesday, April 22nd at 11:45 a.m. Let me know how you're doing. We got fights starting in about 30 hours. As you guys are tapping in, let me know what's cracking. It says we're live. I'm kind of... What's up, Lewis? How you doing, buddy? Give me 1 second. A friend of mine is having a sort of kind of a medical issue, so I want to make sure I'm going to be able to. I might have to cut this stream short. We'll see. I was just at the ER with a friend of mine, and when we got back, they're having an allergic reaction to some medicine. So give me a second. Literally, as soon as I go live, I'll be with you in a second. I can see the chat. Is this live? I can see the comments coming in. Hi, Jay. Chris had to go. I'm messaging my friend's mom. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Hi, Jay. Chris had to go back to. What's up, Johnny? What's up, Luis? Guys, as you're tapping in, I see there's 21 of you. Just like the video. I'll pull up the odds in a second. Betting on football throwing. Yeah. Betting on football. Oh, soccer. Yeah. I don't bet on anything. I only bet on boxing, MMA, and occasionally like some entertainment, NBA playoffs, here and there. Oh, we are working, guys. We got odds up. There's 3 tickets live, so check the Patreon, check the member section on YouTube. I posted in Australia. I posted basically take all the A sides in Australia tomorrow, and you'll be at plus 110. At least I'm maybe plus 107 on my book. I don't see any upsets happening. It's your atypical Australian feeder card, and then I did an Australian knockout prop double that pays plus 500. So we could talk about that. If you're not an insider, click the link that's pinned in the. Guys, I got to take this call. I'm going to leave the stream on. So give me 1 second. I got to take this call. Yeah, Josie. So we were at the ER the that Wise clinic. And it went well. She did the thing. We left. We jumped in an Uber. I brought her home, and I had a client, an online client. And by the time I get home, she's having like a little irritation, skin reaction, which it's common. I sent her the common side. There's common and uncommon side effects. Common side effects are like flushing in the skin and this sort of thing. So I told her to go back. She called the clinic. She went back. She's there right now, and she wanted me to just tell you where she's at. Okay, good. So I'm just keeping you updated. Could you message her for me? Okay, she said her stomach hurts. I said I'll be able to go back to the ER in like an hour if she needs me. So I'm gonna. Yeah. So talk to her, and then I'm gonna head back down there in like an hour. Okay, I'll keep you posted. Bye. Sorry about that. I'm trying to juggle life real quick. Yeah, we're good. Just allergic reaction. Trying to. So, Johnny, is Jared Anderson a good piece to add to the slips? He's fighting Solomon Dackers. He signed with Queens weeks ago. Jared Anderson should win. I really haven't thought about that piece yet. We'll bring the odds up in a second. We know that the Lawrence Okoli card is scrapped. If you're following my Instagram, I shared that news last night.
He failed a pre-fight PED test. He tested positive for, I think it's either a SARM or a peptide. So that whole card is off. We're gonna do what we do though. We're gonna do what we do every single week. We're gonna make do. We're gonna find our victories and we're gonna win and move on. Every week for us is kind of like I always talk about, sort of like an NCAA basketball tournament. Win and move on, win and move on. So we are in it for the love of the game. We got a lot of action. Australia, dude. The Australian card tomorrow is gonna be more. It's gonna be entertaining, man. Ben Mahoney. I got Ben Mahoney by knockout. I've known Ben for a long time. Ben Mahoney's a guy who's been asking for big fights in the boxing arena for a few years now. He, comes from lifelong martial artist. The kid's been fighting since he was a little boy. He's ranked in the top, I think he's ranked in the top 15 worldwide on BoxRec, and he's fighting a real low level guy. He should get him out of there. Jason Maloney as well. Jason Maloney is fighting a guy who only turned pro a few years ago, a kid from Ohio. Shout out to his opponent, Donovan from Ohio, but he's nowhere near levels of Jason Maloney, and Maloney likes to punch. His opponent thinks he's a puncher, but we see what I'm taking Maloney by knockout. What we see a lot is when you see that separation in levels, even if on paper it looks like an even matchup, but when you look deeper and you see like who they've fought, their resume, their experience, similar to last week when we saw Sam Gilly versus Aston Brown, we picked the knockout based on the levels. You know what I'm saying? So I got, if you check your books, if you take Mahoney and if you take Maloney both by knockout, that's my knock prop. Great odds. Half unit, full unit, whatever you want to do. You're gonna, that comes through. We're gonna feel real good about ourselves. Let me pull up the odds real quick. And then I like Jarrell Miller, man. I do like Jarrell Miller. I don't rate Perro. I think Perro's output isn't good enough. I don't think Perro's fought anybody. I'm not sold on the Olympic amateur pedigree. We've been burned by that narrative way too many times. You know what I'm saying? Like they try, oh, he's an Olympian. Oh, he's a gold medal Olympic. I don't give a shit about that. I think Miller, him being active, it wasn't his best fight in his last fight, but at least he went the distance with a guy, won a close decision, stayed in camp, train. I'm leaning on all the little sort of like intangibles. Stayed in camp, didn't put weight on, goes to Philly, training at the dungeon. I like his volume. I like his output. This guy knows how to win. He's done it before in K1 and Glory. I've known about Jarrell Miller before he even started boxing. I remember Jarrell Miller knocked out Pat Brown in, I think it was Glory. Pat Brown's a guy who made it to the UFC. He is, I think he's Rose Namajunas' husband. That's how old school that is. But I remember when Miller stopped him. So anyway, I don't think Perro's on his level, and I like that as well. Will I go knockout or stop or points? I'm not sure yet. Whenever I decide on that, you guys will be the first to know. I'm gonna pull up the odds real quick. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with. Oh, okay, I messaged your mom. Allergic reaction. I'm also in my astronomical pain. I just spoke to. The odds. So right now, if you do an A side parlay like I talked about, if you're in Australia, wherever you are, if you get these odds, there's fights tomorrow. I'm going half unit on an A side parlay. It's plus money, half unit, double your money. I'm going full unit on Mahoney and Maloney. So just full transparency. I got some cash to spend. We've had a great year. We're up. April's been awesome to us. It's my birthday weekend coming up. I'm feeling freaking good, baby. We're out here getting it. So I like Mahoney to stop Dan Hill at $1.95. Damn. And then I like and I think we're gonna see levels in both. And I like Maloney to stop Donovan at plus 180. So that's my play. He put both of those on there. Plus 446. Let's go. I like it. I'm a fan of it. Plus 446. 100 gets you your money back. Plus 400. You know, you put 100 there, you get your money back plus 446. So that's what I'm feeling there. We got the UFC coming up as well. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the UFC tomorrow in our UFC. I'm going to do 2 live streams tomorrow. I'm a bit scattered if you guys are just tapping in. I was at the ER this morning with a friend of mine. It was supposed to be just a normal transfusion sort of thing. And get back home and they're having an allergic reaction. And so they had to go back to the ER. So I'm like, oh shit, I should probably go back. I'll probably go back to the ER after this live stream. Okay, Acoli, damn boys, hate to see it. Be safe out there. Yeah, we good. Ruined the whole card. One more question, Johnny Foster's. One more question, Foster. Odds went down a bit. Kind of worries me. I don't mind. I don't. The longer I've been the longer I do this, the more I correlate odds with my picks. I never let odds suggest my intuition, my knowledge of the fight. I never let odds change how I see what's going to happen in the outcome. You know what I'm saying? Because if I ever allow watching I do watch the odds move. Obviously, we talk about it all the time, but I never let those odds, the fluctuation, impact how I see the outcome. So I could care less about the odds when about changing my opinion. Shock Foster, I think it's easy work against Ray Savage. My man Jeremy Alvarez lost that Paris bag sale. He was fighting on that card. Could you imagine, dude? That's the saddest bit about the entire thing is, you figure there's 12 fights, 24 fighters, 24 fighters. If there are 12 fights, generally speaking, you have 24 guys who had 24 fight camps. You have 24 guys, speaking, if they're all from different gyms with different camps, different sparring partners, all the money paid out of their pocket for bring sparring partners in, paying their strength coaches, paying their nutritionists, paying their corner. It's crazy. It's crazy. So when a whole card gets sort of flushed, it's not a good thing, but these things do happen and we move on. It's like anything in life. You can't never get too down, never get too high. This is what I'm talking about. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a husband, whether you're a boyfriend, whether you do what we do, whatever you do, try to stay even keel. Your wins will be wins, your losses will be losses, but it's all part of the process. Bury him. Quarter half unit on that Aussie. I'm going full unit on the Aussie knockout prop. That's all me. I'm going full unit on the Aussie prop. It makes it more exciting for me. I have confidence in Mahoney getting the stoppage, but I can't find any footage on Maloney. You can't find any footage on Maloney because Donovan doesn't have. Donovan is a kid they're bringing in. You got to Jason Maloney. You guys, former world champion. He got stopped against Neo anyway. This kid at 35, he thinks he's this is his another run. He's making another run at wanting to fight for a world title. He's coming off a victory in which he knocked a guy out. He's fighting a kid who has under, I think, 10 pro fights from Ohio, didn't have an amateur career, 5'3", hasn't been in there with any real guys, but he fights that way. So when you look at Maloney's style, when you look at Donovan's style, the fight should take place in that proximity of I'm going to punch with you. And Maloney, even at 35, is going to be the sharper guy, more power. I think he stops him, and I think he looks good. Harley, 247 morning, boys. Happy to have you here. Guys, we got 53 in here. Like this video. I'm going to stay on. How long have we been on? We've only been on 15 minutes. It feels like we've been on forever, making phone calls, dealing with adversity outside the ring, but that's life. Ben Mahoney was scheduled to fight Eddie Colmenares, but pussied out. Colmenares is the guy who fought Marcial and got robbed. I wouldn't say Ben Mahoney pussied out. I know Ben personally. He's far from a pussy. The kid's a lifelong fighter. The kid's tough as nails. Grew up in the gym. Has been fighting since he was 6 years old. Dacker has a 30% knockout to win ratio. That's terrible for a heavyweight. Jared is now with Bomac. Yeah, people are going to judge fighters on losses, right, rather than their wins. And this is what's happening with Jared. Jared Anderson should handle this guy. Ohio in the house. 37 and over 300 pounds is not good. We're talking about Miller there. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. He has. I mean, it's what he weighs. It's how big he is. If he's 305, I'll be happy. If he's 330, I'll be questionable. I've watched. You look at some of his training footage in Philly. I've seen him. Hitting pads, sparring. He looks locked in. He looks switched on. I'm banking on the fact though, from the time we saw him in his last fight to now, he didn't. Not getting out of shape, staying switched on. He looks motivated to me. I have no problem taking him over Pero. And a lot of it is I kind of still have a bad taste in my mouth losing money on Cuban Olympians. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? I have a bad taste in my mouth losing money on Cuban Olympians. Just in the last 12 months. We've seen it happen 3 times, I think. So, yeah. Three months shy of 38, coming off 2 abysmal performances. Get him. Get Pero, baby. Get Pero. You guys take him. I'm not trying to talk you out of your bet, boys. You know what we do. The closer Miller comes in at 305, the better he's going to be. Yeah, I mean, he's already going to be weighing over 50, 60 pounds heavier than Pero. I don't think Pero's good, though. I just don't see anything that... I mean, you have to score points and win rounds. I don't think Pero has the power to knock out Miller. I think... And Miller knows how to, like... He knows how to make it dirty, ugly. The volume of... I think we're going to see another... Activity, yeah, he is 300 plus pounds. He is 37 years old, but activity matters. If we're looking at just him, he just went 10 rounds in his last fight. Was that a 12 rounder? He stayed in camp. So whatever we just saw in that last performance, I'm expecting at least 20% better, and I think that should be enough to beat Pero. I think the last guy Miller boxed was a southpaw as well. Outside of Boots, that camp been losing. Cruz, Smalls, Fulton, Miller will lose next. Let's go. That Philly camp, yeah, Bosey's not doing too well. All you need is one, though. You know what I'm saying? All you need is one. Mike from Melbourne, what's good? What's crack-a-lacking? We are good. We are still good. So, everything is copacetic. I know some of the boys. Let's see the Pero odds real quick you guys like. So, you know what? What's better than that? This is who you guys like. I mean, if you ask me, there is literally nothing here. 58 total pro rounds. He's 13-0 with 8 knockouts. They're about both 6'4". He's a southpaw. Miller's an ortho. Miller's going to outweigh him probably by 50 to 60 pounds at least. Who has he fought? He just went the distance with Jordan Thompson. Jordan Thompson, I think, started his career at middleweight or light heavyweight. Definitely not heavyweight. He wanted to sit with Detralius Webster. I don't think this guy's any good. I'm sorry. He turned pro in 2019 and has only fought 58 rounds. So in 7 years, he fights 8 rounds a year for the last 7 years. 8 rounds. His volume isn't there. His output. Look, it's a gamble. It's a bet. Do what you want to do. I'm only here to tell you what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough on Pero for me to bet on him. I'd rather take a risk on a big old former steroid abuser, former Glory K1 kickboxer, massive dude character. I'd rather put my money on that guy than this guy. That's what I'm doing here. And hopefully maybe Big Baby Miller's back on the sauce, baby. Let's get it. Get your money. Get your reward, Big Baby. Especially because I'm betting on him. Where are we? Yeah, I hate drug cheats, though. I don't hate drug cheats enough to, he did his time. He got popped. He's back. Let's go. We love a redemption story. I'm definitely not like I know some of the boys in our Discord because he popped before. They were bringing in like emotions. Oh, he's a look. I don't live my life in absolutes. I don't outcast people. I believe in redemption. I don't throw people away. I don't write people off. So I know there's people in the Discord who are betting against Miller because he popped for steroids before, and I'm like, this is a game we play about making money. This isn't a game we play on emotions. The minute you start betting with your emotions, you're going to start losing. If you want to win consistently, you have to be able to compartmentalize your emotions, remove them, and look at the logic. And that's what I do. That's why we win. Okay, she still hasn't responded. What time will the UFC live streams be? I have no idea, brother. I know I got boxing tomorrow at 3 my time. It might be at 1 p.m. Probably 1 p.m. So an hour from now tomorrow. Wow, we're floating between 50 and 70 in here. Guys, like the stream for me. You guys have been really good with that. I appreciate you. Outside of boots. Mahoney versus Eddie Culliman Harris. It's Eddie. Eddie sees your boy. I will. I'll message him on the Grizz. Best way to transfer. Miller's looking lean and mean. Ain't seen this kind of shape. He's just gonna do. I think he's gonna be too much for Perro. Well, I was gonna break down the tape, but the Barrientos fight's not on my books anymore. I think Garcia Rosas was pulled. Doesn't have to knock him out or line. Yeah, right now I'm just taking Jarrell Miller on the money line. Let's see the odds. I like Jarrell Miller on the money line. Yeah, $1.72. I mean, come on, guys, a 72% return. We're eating on that. We're eating on that. I also like I might get crazy and play the knockout. Who knows? We're up, baby. I might take Jarrell Miller by knockout too, plus 420. Be too much for Perro. Perro's drowning, not throwing enough, getting overwhelmed. Jarrell throws those big ass bolo punches, catches him in the back of that ear. We fall. I can see that. I can see that happening. Cuba. Lenair is more active than Miller in the last 7 years. Perro will control all the rounds. Let's go, GK. Let's go, Cuba. Perro will control all the rounds. Be the favorite by 6. You can get Miller. That's a little bit way too specific for my likings. My man GK is being a little bit too specific for my likings. I see Miller in 1 to 6 available round group betting. If Miller brings his volume, I think it'll be there. Hey Johnny, who you got for the David fight? Craig David? The booty man can. What you know about Craig David? Miller knockout, yes. Now we're talking Mage Yourself. This is what we do around here, boy. We see the story. We know the story. We look for the plot lines. We see the politics. We see the odds. We see where fighters are trending. And then we make calculated decisions based on our vision. And Miller knockout I mean, what's he have? An 80% knockout to win ratio? He's going to be outweighing Perro by 60 pounds. He's going to be out punching him volume wise. I don't think Perro could punch. I don't trust the Cuban heavyweight at all, dude. I'm sorry. I've been thinking. Sorry to, and I don't like generalizations, but just in the last 12 months, raise your hand if you can name a Cuban Olympian who recently has lost that we were told was gonna win. I mean, I know that he's the underdog here, but like we just saw Andy lose, but then we just saw our boy Yanis Teaz. Was he Cuban? There's a few of them, man. There's a few. I don't like Lando Perro's tape either. I'm sorry. And I like the size advantage. I like the volume. I like his recent shape. I know the last fight you guys don't like. He still won the fight. He still won the fight, man. A confident ass 37-year-old heavyweight. We need him to be confident. A confident Jarrell Miller walks through him. Also, what about Munguia? I know the chat wants me to take Resendez. I'm still not sold. I don't know. I know Resendez is a plus 140. That's crazy. But I could see why. I don't mind Jaime Munguia. I've kind of always liked Jaime Munguia. I have. I'm sorry. Maybe like I like a guy who, he's another one of these guys who doesn't do anything particularly well, but he's always in a fight. He's grind. Like he kind of like has one gear, and you could tell he's kind of been overlooked his whole life. Comes from I like Munguia. I don't know if I'm gonna pick him to win that fight. We'll see. I like how he picked himself off the canvas. It says a lot about a kid who was undefeated, gets totally embarrassed in his hometown in front of his people against a guy who wasn't supposed to be there, not even a puncher, and he gets stopped. And then he has to go to the desert in the Middle East for the rematch, and then he beats him. And he boxed well. He made good adjustments, was locked in, switched on, especially when he had Sriracha up against the ropes. That's where he was making that mistake defensively. He would exit out, and where he got caught in the first fight is he would drop the hands to punch with Sriracha, and Sriracha timed him, and he saw it through that beautiful overhand. And so in the second fight, he wouldn't give him that punch. That's an adjustment. So Munguia, I think he takes a lot of shit for various reasons, but I like him, man. I like what I see with him. Top dog Doya. What about I don't know who you're talking about, Doya. The David fight. Anyway, you guys are all over the place right now. Miller was minus 500 against eBay, and we won. Miller on points. Look, I only look at. You do what you want to do. What have you done for me? What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Jerome Miller, what have you done for me lately? Let's check. Jarrell Miller won me money lately. So Jarrell Miller on points against Kingsley eBay won me money lately. So I'm gonna roll him. I thought Jarrell Miller beat Andy Cruz. Dude, I do not see Lenny or Perro beating Andy Cruz. I mean, Jarrell went 10. Well, went to the lost to Dubois in the 10th. I think people are sleeping, man. I think that you're gonna. I don't know. I have no problem with this fight. I just won money on him, man, and so I'm gonna roll with him until I lose. I'd love to know why that fight fell off, Johnny. I tell him odds on Columbus would be amazing. I mean, obviously I can't ask him this week. Andy Cruz. They be telling us the Cubans are legit. And then sometimes that Cuban style doesn't translate. Sometimes it does, but have we ever seen it at heavyweight? The big fella, when he got starched, knocked out against Wilder. Perro is too inactive, too many questions. He's never been 12. Don't know how he handles pressure. You're made yourself. You're preaching to the choir. For me, you know what side I'm on. You gotta build that neck. That neck right there, boy. Build that neck, boy. That shit'll help you from not getting knocked out. Build that neck. Boom, boom, boom. We out here crazy, boy. I gotta. Perro does have a solid southpaw liver shot. Check that fight. Bang! Beautiful shot. Yeah, but you got to set the liver up. And where is Jarrell's liver? I mean, we know where the liver is under the right side. Right chest, right chesticle, right nipple, right below there. Sweet spot. Boom. Shut off switch. I was talking about David, the monster, El Monster, or David Benavidez. Yeah, I like Benavidez to beat his first fight at cruiserweight. I like Benavidez. We talked about this all week, Toya. That fight isn't until next week. We will come back around. When I come around. Miller has 2 knockouts in 7.5 years, and one of those stoppages was someone who had been knocked out 5 times. Melissa is not stopping Barrow. Sweet. Then don't take him. Look, I'm not taking any. None of my bets are because I'm fans of these guys, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not married to any of these suggestions. Good. He hasn't stopped. Excellent. So he's due, right? I'm not saying I'm taking him by stoppage, but I mean, those odds look pretty sexy. Especially if I think that there's, if I could see a stoppage. I could see a volume stoppage. I could see it happening. He gets caught, gets clipped behind the ear. Miller's a bit dirty. Throws another one. Yeah. What's up, McKenna? JM97, we up. Life is play, guys. Remember that. Life is play. Don't take life too serious. We're supposed to have fun. Guys, we're in between 50 and 70. Could you like this video for me real quick? So he stopped Lucas Brown 3 years ago. All of a sudden, he's had 1 stoppage in 7 years. So hold on, I gotta teach my boy statistics real quick. Okay, so Barium. Miller has 2 knockouts in 7 years. Okay, what you would do though is you would go to the first knockout. It's 2026, right? So he knocked out Derek Cardenas Perez July of 2022. So that's the first knockout of your 2 knockouts. So if we're doing a statistical stat, you would do the first knockout here, 2022, and then he knocks out Lucas Brown 2023. So he actually has 2 knockouts in 4 years. So over the last 4 years, he's had 2 knockouts. That's the better way of saying he's had 2 knockouts in 7.5 years. That's a little bit misleading. Why? Because what have you done for me lately? That's how you got to look at that. I respect your game. I respect your game, though, Barry Unboxing. Look at this. Come on. Plus 420. I mean, what's your move then? You like, Lenny Perro on points, plus 225? Look, I don't see Perro scoring more or winning more rounds than Miller. I just don't. I don't think he has enough volume. I don't think he has enough activity for it. I think he's too small. I don't see that happening. So if I don't see a path to victory, and I don't see Perro knocking him out. So if I don't see a path to victory for Perro, then I have to go to the guy who I think is going to win. I'm already taking Miller on the money line. 72% return on the money line is a great play, right? So 72% is already going to be a bet. I'm going to parlay that with something else. But as a prop, I already see Miller winning. The way I see him winning is on points. But then I could get risky here, man. I got room to spare, man. We've been hitting a lot on these props. Plus 600s, plus 500s. We're up. Why not sprinkle Miller by knockout at plus 420? If you could see a path to victory, which I can, I see him winning. I'm probably going to do that. That's just that's my reasoning. When we're doing deductive reasoning, that's how I start. You have your line, 2 fighters, and you're working your way to the middle. That middle line is who you think is going to win. Once we get to the middle line, then you take your path to victory and you cut that big line in half. Giving away all my game. So this is fighter A, fighter B. This midline is as you're doing your deductive reasoning, who's going to win. Once you pick your winner, your line has been cut in half. Take that other half, the box that's left over, and now how's he going to win? And you break it down with how you think he's going to win, and then you play the odds. And that's what we're doing. Life is about playing the odds. I think if Miller and Perro goes the distance, Perro wins. Beautiful. Perro on points is your play. Excellent. Get after it. Get after it and show those tickets. We're out here. We're playing for keeps. Show those tickets in the Discord, boys. Shout out to the Discord. The boys have been asking for it. You guys have been showing your tickets. The live better. You know what? We should do a live better. I think I'm going to open a live betting slip channel because you're right. There was some confusion last week. Some of the boys were hitting on live bets. And then some of the boys were like, hey, man, why are you even posting it? You didn't say that all week. But live betting is a whole different animal. Live betting is being able to see the tempo, strategy, trajectory of a fight while watching it and then pulling the trigger. So I think the way we can negate some confusion on those tickets of who you guys like to win, if you're going to put a live bet action up, I'm going to create a new channel for that. They're fighting in Vegas and Peril back by Matchroom. I've had the time of my life, and I never felt this way before. Yes, I swear. Let's go. Let's check it out. It's the truth, and I owe it all to you. All right, let's check the odds. I have an idea of who I like, but let's pull it up real quick. All right, this is UFC. I'm going to just talk about this for just this one question. We'll go back to boxing. Be patient, boxers. Max Griffin is live. My boy Max. This might be an emotional play because I'm friends with him. He took this fight on short notice. I think with a full camp, it's no doubt he beats Valenzuela. I don't know if I'm going to play that. Ryan Spann. It wasn't that long ago. Ryan Spann was spoken. You know, he was like in the top 5 of the division. It shows you how fickle MMA is. You lose a couple fights, people forget about you. I mean, if Hani Barcelos 5 years ago, but people sleep on Montel Jackson. I like Montel Jackson's boxing. He's long, he's tall, he's rangy for the division. Barcelos always seems, even though he's 89 years old, man, he's been upsetting these sort of matchups time and time again. So Barcelos is always live. Until Barcelos retires, he's always going to be live. Rafa Garcia. Alex Hernandez is on a bit of a streak right now, but Rafa Garcia, man, we know this is a really fun fight. That's a coin flip. Jocelyn Edwards is trending. Jocelyn Edwards is another one. She's figuring out her wrestling game. We know Norma Dumont is going to always weigh in at the weight and then come in massive, but Jocelyn cuts a lot of weight. I think Jocelyn needs to answer those questions in the grappling and be able to get off of her back. But, you know, she's trending right now. So that's always a nice little sprinkle. I'm probably going to take Eljo. I think that's my dog. When I make it official, I'll let you know. I'm probably going to take Eljo as my dog. One of my favorite fighters. I don't know where his liver is, but yeah, his liver's below. He got that fatty liver. He got that marbleized steak liver, you know? Luis Carlo Tresiano. In fact, I'm going to comment on his post right now. Let's make this fight. Do it, bro. Get after it, brother. Tag me in it. Get after it. We up. Chavez Medueno distance to Argentina. Never fought outside South America. Yeah, that card's next. So I'm going to be focusing more on that card on Friday's first live stream, considering Australia happens tomorrow. Aussies, the Australian card is going to be on Stan Sport. But if you're in our Discord, you know one of the boys will be streaming it in our Discord. Join up. Who's going to be our 500th JSB Insider? We're about 490 right now. If they're not following the Discord, miss a live bet, that's on them. Big Shadow. Appreciate you. Ben Mahoney, money line hitting for sure. I got my money on it. I don't believe in for sure's or locks, but that's where my money's at. You guys know that. I think Ben Mahoney is maybe 2 levels above his opponent. Perro's gas tank is my concern, my only concern. I don't rate Miller at all. Miller will throw a lot of punches. Connect percentage will be 25. True. Perro is my dog of the week at plus 260. I think he's at plus 160. Is he? He's not a close to 3-1 favorite. He's not even. Let's pull it up. I don't know. Maybe your book's different. I think he's plus 160. Which by fight night, this could flip flop. Yeah, no, he's plus 125. He's plus 125. He's not even a 2-1 dog. So this is getting close to a coin flip territory. So guys, if you take Perro on the money line, you put 100 on him, you get your money back plus 125 bucks. So that the way our numbers values work here, that would be a plus 125. But if you grabbed him at, you said you grabbed him at plus 260. I think that unless you're talking on points. unless you're talking by decision, because the decision is plus 235. So that could be what you're talking about. Play it. Those are good odds. Those are good. But guys, whatever side we're on, it's a good fight to play. We don't have to. We love our sport. We're not fans of. I'm not a fan of any guy, but I think the longer people come to the channel, they realize what we do. What Barry and I are talking about. What a lot of the boys, with Julius, what we talk about is we're literally playing odds. You know what I mean? We're taking our knowledge of the sport, knowledge of our game. This is our stock market. This is when guys are playing numbers or whatever. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about Bitcoin, anything. I'm old. I just never got into it. I assume what I do here is probably my version of what they do there with like their cryptocurrency and stuff like that. But I have friends who are day traders. They're always reading markets, and they've told me this is kind of similar. We're looking at odds. Whatever side you choose, there's good value each side, man. And if you're a Paro guy, the plus 220, 235 on points is a great play. So yeah, this is a good fight to bet. It does, guys. You know what we do? We don't need world title fights to make money. We don't need main events to make money. We need value. We need good odds, and then we need our knowledge of the game. And this is what we do. I think I do too, man. I like Montel. I do. He's always been one of my sneaky favorite guys in the UFC. Yeah, Max Payne is a mad dog. Like I said, Max Payne with a full camp, he goes in that fight a favorite. He put his hand up late. Max maybe had 2 weeks to prepare for this fight. I don't know if it's at a catch weight. Is it at 170? I haven't looked. Very confident in Justin Mahoney. Yeah, at it. That'll be on me if he loses. I'll be shocked if Mahoney loses. Like shocked. Eljo. I think Eljo is going to be my dog. People, MMA fans are more fickle than boxing fans. It's because boxing, we've been around much longer. The sport's much older. MMA is pretty much still like an embryo in regards to the length of time. 1993 UFC 1. So with that, much more casual of a sport too. MMA. I talk to MMA fans now. They don't even know. Like I talk about the golden era of the welterweights. They don't even know these guys, but they know all these guys now. They've never seen a Carlos Condit fight. They don't know Matt Brown versus Eric Tiger Silva. And then you don't even try to go before that. They don't know about Kazushi Sakuraba or, the Fireball Kid when the Fireball Kid fought in the Pride against Nick Diaz. I think that was in Denver. The first event Pride had in the U.S. You had Takanori Gomi. At one time, Takanori Gomi was the biggest superstar in MMA. He would sell out that Superdome in Tokyo with 100,000 people. And he came over as a 4-1 favorite and fought, I think, a 22-year-old Nick Diaz, and Diaz subbed him, if I remember correctly. Had him hurt. It was a great war and subbed him. And I think that fight happened after when he knocked Robbie Lawler out, when Robbie was 20 and Nick was 19. If you guys never seen Robbie Lawler, Nick Diaz 1, woo, doggy. One of my all-time favorite fights. Are you tackling the Jarrell Miller card this weekend? Groovy. Are you just tapping in? Baby, your money. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. It's a good bet. I'm not, dude, it's a great bet. That's a great bet. So shout out. You know what, Groovy? I kind of want Jarrell to have a wig on. I ain't mad. I ain't mad at the wig. And you gotta love how Jarrell played it. You gotta there's only two ways to play that. There's two ways, and he did it the right way. Because there's boxing, ego-driven sport, but combat sports are also the most humbling. So that is a man who's been humbled before, and it's gonna happen. And so the way he did it, he tore it off. I'm glad he did it that way, because when it happened and he's in the corner, we're watching that stuff unfold live. We don't know if he's going to try to paste it down and act like nobody. He did the right thing and he threw it. It was all great. Defense, footwork, shot selection. Miller will be slow at 300. Then get your money, Julius. I'm not siding with that pick though. Paro by knockout plus 550. There you go. Buy Bitcoin, Johnny. You don't need to learn about trading. Buy it. Hold it. Diaz with the Gogo Plata. That was that was against Takanori Gomi. Yeah, you guys get my point. You guys get my point. I watch just as much MMA as I watch boxing, and it's always been the case. You know what I'm saying? It's always been the case. There goes the Coleman. I remember Mahoney. Let's go, Luis. Where are we at here? Where are we at, boys? You guys are savages. We're 45 minutes in. We got 50 to 70 you in here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you're doing today. We got fights starting in basically 24 hours here in Australia. We got action. There's a decent UFC card. There's the Australian card. We got the Perro versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller card. I think we got another card. We're gonna find our wins, man. We're gonna find our victories. If you're in the Patreon, you guys already have 3 tickets. There's 3 tickets live that I've given you my bets on. At least 4 are going to be incoming because I got 2 UFCs coming. Our long parlay that we started last month is still live, so that's up. That ends July 2nd with the Abdullah Mason card. We got so many good fights. Bro, there's so much to look forward to. And then I gave you my Australian money line parlay plus money, double your money with all. I think we're getting our archetypal Australian A-side feeder festival. That's what this card is to me. We see it all the time, even though it's not a no limit card. The boys like to feed their boys. They like to feed the A-sides down here because Aussies want to make it internationally. The only way you can make it internationally as an Aussie is you have to dominate domestically. This goes into the same ethos as when you bet a top rank card. Can we please get a top rank card soon? Because the top rank card, we know all the A-sides always win. So moving forward, when you look at the Australian cards, look at it that way, especially on the main cards. Especially when you're not seeing 50. I don't see any 50-50 fights. I don't think any of these are 50-50 fights. And I also gave you guys a knockout prop. I'm taking Jason Maloney by knockout, and I'm taking Ben Mahoney by knockout at plus 440. Let's get it. Perro wins that. The only way I see him winning by knockout. If it goes long, he'll get broken down. We got a good chat. We got an educated chat. We don't need to agree on everything. The boys know you guys know what you're talking about. This is about the community. This is about we're riffing right now. Julius makes great points. Barium makes great points. All you guys are making great points. All I can tell you is who I like, right? And nobody is 100% all the time. And what I see, Perro. What do we say? Perro is going to have to prove it to me, man. Does he want it? How's he going to handle it in a dirty fight? How's he going to handle with a big old animal laying on him, talking to him, hitting him illegally in the back of the head, punching him in the ears? Like, I, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a spectacle. Perro is a great value play, but I think Miller has so much pro experience. Perro didn't look good against. This is what I'm talking about, dude. I have never. What pro fight did Perro look good in? Jordan Thompson, guys. There's not. Look at this. There's not a lot there, man. There's not a lot. There's not a lot on that resume, boys. There's not a lot on that resume. You guys think Perro beats Andy Ruiz? Don't even come at me like that. Don't even come at me like that. If only Miller packed some more mass. Imagine him close to 400 rounds. Wrecking ball the real one, not Nick Paul. You want him to get bigger? You want him to get bigger? You guys are savages. Let me see something real quick. Luis is a savage. You're like, F it. Let's get bigger out here. All right. Are you okay? Okay, so share this tab. I want to show you a picture I shared on my Instagram last night. So this is Jason Maloney versus his opponent. His opponent only turned pro 4 years ago with no amateur career. He had like 2 amateur fights. 5'2", and he fights like he's a puncher. Maloney could crack. I think I love the knockout here. All right. What are we talking about? Look at Big Bay, dude. What, bro? I mean, he's looking. These are from the dungeon and from his Insta. So this is he was weighing here. He was weighing 3 in the upper threes. He's looking like he might be around 305. And if he's around 305, it makes sense because that means that he stayed in shape since his last fight only 3 months ago. Who proactively moves to Philly for a fight camp if you're not switched on? No offense to my Philadelphians. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. Who am I I'm not bashing another city. But when I'm thinking about him, a 37-year-old heavyweight who's been, at the top of the mountain, just there, his career in multiple combat sports, I want to go, dude, at 37, what are your intentions? You want to be in like Miami or, Southern California. You don't want to go to Philly in the springtime, dude. But that's where he's at. That tells me a lot, man. That's telling me a lot. Boy. Uh. Uh. You Uncle Elroy's son. You Uncle Elroy's son. Boy. Let's go. Let's get it. That little rabbit punch. Let's go. Ooh, I seen it. Back of the head. Boom. Back of the head. Let's go. Uppercut. Get it. Yeah, so that is the news. Maloney knockout coming. A Coley. How about Lindolfo Delgado, the king of getting really close decisions? The Goyatso fight, bro. He almost killed us on the Goyatso. Goyatso went from fighting. Goyatso got starched against Subaru Matias last March in a freaking beatdown, dude. He got pillar to post, got stopped, looked horrible against Subaru, and then 5 weeks later he takes a fight in Tijuana, a 6-rounder, and goes life and death with a kid who's a YMCA coach. He follows me on Instagram. He literally is a YMCA coach in Tijuana. Loses the fight, and they gave the fight to Goyatso. And he just looked shot. Central nervous system was fried. So when then Goyatso gets the Lindolfo Delgado fight, I was like, oh, Goyatso's done. Watch this fight. He just gets starched against Subriel, and then he gets beat by a club guy, a YMCA club fighter. Lindolfo's going to starch him. Lindolfo struggled his ass off with guys, and then the Elvis Rodriguez fight. And I'm not bitching because I won money on it. I took Lindolfo against Elrod, and I took him against the club level guy, and he almost ruined me twice, and I'm not taking him ever again. Definitely taking Teofimo Lopez here. So the weigh-ins are today. The weigh-ins start in 2 hours in Australia. Next week we got Sky. We got who else is on that card? Jake Wiley's on that card. Taramona is on that card. That's next Wednesday night. I love Wednesday night Aussie boxing, Thursday night Aussie boxing. Guys, we're gonna eat. Get your spoons and forks out. 2 weeks later, we got Zoo Diaz. Feeder. Let's get some food. Let's get some action. And now we are all caught up. All right. We're almost an hour in. 50 of you guys in here. We should have 50 likes. What about the Japan card? I didn't know there was a Japan card, PJ. Big Baby Miller style is eventually going to fade. It's like Joe Joyce style when you come forward and take some shots, but Perro isn't that guy. Unless he could get that one-shot knockout, I doubt it. I'm leaning on that too. Yeah, this is why we're going to tune in. We're going to watch. We're going to see what time it is. There's some questions to be answered. One of us will win. One of us will lose, and then we'll all reconvene around the campfire with maybe some Hennessy or some whatever I like Eiley's, so like Lagavulin or Lefroy, something that tastes like a campfire. Those are my favorite scotches. But I grew up the other side of me. I grew up a belligerent drinking Hennessy VSOP with my Cambodian boys. the TRG gang out of Long Beach. Shout out to my boy Kafaya and Panaka. So whatever your drink is, after the fight, we'll reconvene around the campfire. We'll cheers it, whether you won or whether we lost, and we'll talk about the fights to come. This is what we do. We are a group and a community of savages who get to cheer for the greatest sport on earth. It's what we do. Aussies feed the A side when they go abroad, get told. Bro, this is the thing. This is so Callum Peters, 50 cal. 50 cal is fighting Joshawn James. That's next week. I thought, I'm not gonna lie, if that fight was in Vegas, I would have taken Joshawn James. I thought they were sending 50 cal over already to America to test those waters, and the odds are up, and it's a 50-50 fight. Joshawn's been in there with the much better opponents. He likes to punch. 50 cal likes to punch. It's a 50-50 fight, but they're flying Joshawn to Melbourne, so Joshawn James is fighting. That's a sneaky fight of the card, boys. Check your books. See if you got 50 cal or Joshawn James on your books. You would recognize Joshawn. He fought it against a Dominican like 4 months ago. We were watching the fight. They both knocked each other down in the fourth. They're hooking, boom, and Joshawn was a big favorite. He squeaked one out, and then you would know him. He got stopped against Lester Martinez. Callum Peters is a guy who, good amateur out here in Australia, coming off a recent knockout win over a guy who shouldn't have been in there with him. This is his step up. We're going to see if 50 cal is a real deal. If that fight was in Vegas next week, I would have taken Joshawn, but it's in Melbourne, and to Jay Sai's point, Aussies feed the A side when they go around. They get tall. We've seen it time. Unless your name is George Cambosis, he got all his L's when they came to see him. Devin came to see him twice in Loma and Perth. Andy couldn't stop. Miller. Pero has no chance by knockout. If Pero wins by knockout, I'll quit. I'm going to take up snail racing. Snail racing sounds fun. Can we eat the snails afterwards? Do you guys like escargot? Escargot. 150. Okay, so this is another fun. Andrew Hunt versus Ben Hussein. Guys, we saw... So Andrew Hunt was a guy who fought in his last fight as a 2-1 underdog against Munir Fatih. Munir Fatih was coming off a career-defining knockout, right? He goes in as a 2-1 favorite against, I think, Andrew Hunt's a Kiwi who had took like 4 years off, had a good, I think, amateur career, was highly touted as a teen, and is a big puncher. And he walked through Munir Fatih as a 2 to 3 to 1 dog. And Ben Hussein's fought the who's who in Australia. Ben Hussein is a guy, doesn't have a perfect record. He keeps leveling up. He's a dog. He's great at the press conferences. He could punch. He's a big dude for the division. This is a fun fight. This is a real fun fight. Yeah, no, Maloney's opponent. Andre Donovan's 5'2", guys. Andre Donovan from where I'm from. He's from Northeast Ohio. Just started boxing in 2022, and he finds himself in there with a real guy. Australia. Let's get that knockout. Mason looks like he's struggling to make 35. Mason ain't stopping Cordina. Ooh. I don't think he's stopping Joe. If Joe Cordina is much more seasoned than Sam Noakes, Joe Cordina will not give Mason that fight. He won't fight Sam. I think that Cordina's way more skilled than Sam Noakes. This is a step up for Mason. And Abdullah is one of my favorite fighters, Cleveland, Ohio. This will be the best guy he's fought. Right? This will be the best guy he's fought, 100%. Joe Cordina's legit, man. Cordina's going to have to use his fight IQ and his mind. Because if there is one knock on Abdullah right now in his career, it's kind of his decision-making, when to punch, where to punch, how to punch. He gets hit a lot, we know that. But, this is what makes legends in our sport. You carve out an iconic legacy by fighting the way Abdullah does. The downside to that, though, is sort of self-care. How long could you do it for? When is that shin going to get cracked? We saw him dropped already a couple times in his career. So it's an interesting fight. I mean, people are going to write off Cordina just on the surface. Cordina could box. This Pero Miller fight reminds me a lot of Robesi Ramirez and Divina. This reminds you of that? This that's crazy. What a crazy fight. Well, Rafa Espinosa, the first one or the second one? Because the first Robeisy Ramirez fight is the one that put Rafa on the map. I mean, the diehards knew who Rafa was, but the surface level boxing fans didn't know he was a 6-1 dog against Robeisy, and had to come back. Had to come back and get the stoppage, dude. He became a star overnight in that fight, Rafa. And in the second fight, he just made it look easy. Peril Miller to me looks like Jamie TKV versus Midnight Train. That's what I'm looking at these guys. I'm thinking it's like, only because that just happened. I'm thinking it's like Jamie TKV versus Midnight Train. I'm not thinking Robeisy versus Rava. Yeah, cats are crazy. It is. I mean, ooh, you'd be shocked with the BMI, body mass index. It's a universal scale that they use based off pinch tests. You'd be shocked what obese is on their scale. I don't agree to it. I don't adhere to it with my clients. But you get a 6 foot tall, 210 pound athlete with 10% body fat, based off of their size and weight on the scale, they would be considered obese. So, but I'm of Jarrell Big Baby Miller. He's a big bloke. What's up, Canelo? Canelo in the house. I think Landolfo loses whether he fights Teo or Duarte. So do I. So do I. Miller had 4 year layoff and a 2 year layoff. Perro 7-12. Miller is a two-sport athlete. Miller had a good K1 and Glory career. What does that tell you? Volume, volume, volume. Those K1 kickboxers, those Glory kickboxers, constant pressure, constant pressure. He had a layoff because he got suspended. Let's not sugarcoat it. That boy was out on them eggs. Perro 7. Who's Perro fought? 7-12. He's never even gone past 6, has he? I've never seen. Perro's gonna have to show it to me. I ain't never seen it. Noakes is way tougher than Cordina. Cordina already been stopped at a lower weight. You think he's tougher than Cordina? I want to. Sam's still young though. Cordina's the veteran. I always side with the vet. He's been stomped already because he's been in the game longer. Sammy boy, just entering the game. Not gonna lie, I think James could beat Peters. It's gonna be a close fight. James's chin's gonna get tested. That double knockdown was crazy. Do you remember that? What's it? Worley versus Dubois? I'm torn, man. I'm torn. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to put my money on Daniel Dubois. I'm sorry. Even though if I take Worley, I'll be stressed out the entire time. Could you imagine taking Wardley in the Justice Hooney fight? You were just stressed out the entire goddamn time, and then he brings it home for you. It's tough for me to bet on a guy with so many psychological question marks in Daniel Dubois. Even if I lose, I'd rather go down with a fighter knowing that the guy will never give up on themselves. So that's something you got to think about when betting. Will fighter A give up on themselves if they're down? Yes or no? Will fighter B give up on themselves if they're down? Yes or no? We've seen Dubois give up on himself before. Did you Peter Dobson, Kelvin Davis? I like Dobson. I've watched Dobson's whole career. Dobson's a tough Philly kid. We watched Dobson travel out to was it Turkey? He got a raw deal recently, maybe 3-4 months ago, on one of those Japanese cards. I think that either Casemiro was on that card. Dobson fought in the co-main, and we won money. I think he was fighting a Japanese fighter. It might have been in Kyrgyzstan. Maybe it was in Turkey. It was not too long ago. Dobson's been active too, man. Kelvin Davis, it's a close fight. I want to see what the odds would say. Kelvin Davis is definitely not his brother. And Pete Dobson's going to be in your grill the entire time. I think he's a firefighter. He's a gritty Philly guy. Dobson's one of these guys who will never be a world champion, but you need guys like Pete Dobson in our sport. Guys like Pete Dobson is what makes our sport great. Portland beat. Damn, you NBA bettors are salty. I better not go into the NBA Discord. You guys are having a meltdown. Y'all boys better be betting accordingly and betting like some gentlemen. That's an upset. I'm a Cavs fan, so I'm only betting on Cleveland, and I'm betting on props. So I do have a little sneaky prop bet. We could talk about it real quick. Let's see who I took. It probably got fried. I'm an NBA prop better. Are we still live? Oh, the game just started. So I I play trends. I play trends. So the Lakers versus Rockets. I never bet on the Cavs either. Don't ever bet on your favorite teams, guys. Don't do it. But I do have some sneaky playoff action. The Lakers, I took LeBron to score 20. I took Rui to score 10. I took Luke to score 20. And I took the Lakers. That pays plus 1,000. Let's go. Let's go. Do you like the under on those two fights, the Mahoney fight and Maloney, 8.5? I'm not an look, Lewis. I'm being real with you. I'm not an over and under guy. I'm not the right guy to talk to. My answer will the reason why you guys come to me is because I give you my answers based on experience. My mind, when I'm thinking about how these outcomes of fights goes, it's not even in my thinking process over and under. My thinking process, and maybe that's me oversimplifying things. I look at the money line and I look at outcome. I don't bet rounds. It's not that I don't rate Raymond Ford highly. I just feel that this version, Floyd, is not his best version. And this is why I think that Foster won't struggle with him, because in boxing, career trajectory matters. How your camp moves you matters. Raymond Ford's world class, world level, but I feel this version of Foster, he is at his pinnacle. I think we're looking at Shock Foster. This version is the best he'll ever be, and it's very good. I think it's top 10 pound for pound good. I think it's very, very good. I think I'd love to see Shock versus Navarrete at 30. I mean, come on. Both guys are big for the division. Um, I don't think Raymond Ford is fully developed yet. So that's what I mean by that. Savage is a savage for a reason. He keeps leveling up. We watched him go from a guy who second guesses his offense to a guy who throws a lot more now. There used to be a knock on Raymond Ford that he didn't punch a lot, that the volume wasn't there. And we've watched him slowly add this to his game. And I think there's other areas in his game that he needs to add before he beats a guy like Shock Foster. I just don't think he's there yet. Remember the cringy ass pose he used to do with his mouth open and doing that weird thing with his hands, like holding something? We're talking about a lot. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I'm doing my best, kid. I'm doing my best. Yeah, I think Connor Wallace gets the KO. I don't have a prop on it, though, Baz. Australia in the house. Not going to lie, Cordina has a higher chance of beating Mason with. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So you get. My takes aren't that crazy then, right, boys? Like, I don't ever try to say things to be polarizing. Maybe I should be more polarizing, but it's just not in my DNA makeup. I'm a man who runs my life off of logic. It's got me to where I am. It's allowed me to be successful in multiple areas. Logic for me has always been my superpower. Saying things that are clickbaity hasn't. And so I didn't think I was being clickbaity saying that Cordina is the going to be the toughest guy, the most difficult opponent Mason has fought. Or Cordina's legit, man. When I mean as a boxer, guys, I mean a guy who knows how to operate a 12-round world level fight, a guy who has a good fight IQ, who knows how to fight in range, can fight in the pocket, who's been hurt before, who could put themselves off of the canvas, who could come back. Like, these are things that as a 21-year-old fighter, 22-year-old fighter, Mason is so good. He's had to pick himself off the canvas. He's gone 12. He's learning on the fly. I think Cordina is going to make him answer some other questions. I don't attribute the stoppage due to being in the game longer. He got stopped versus a guy who's supposed to beat him. I'm not saying Joe will get stopped, but I will not be shocked. Yeah, I mean, Abdullah's a puncher. Is there a more fan-friendly style than Mason right now? And then you mix that with Mason's character. You know what I'm saying? You mix that with Mason's personality and his character in and outside of the ring. This kid is what makes boxing great as well. Abdullah Mason, a young world champion, a kid who fights brave, a kid who's fan-friendly, who's action-packed, who has a great relationship with his father, who has a great relationship with his family and his faith and his spirituality. And like, you see all of that come to fruition on fight night. And you saw all of it against Sam Noakes. And shout out to Sam too, because Sam's a freaking dog. Sam earned a lot of our respect. Sam earned a lot of our respect in that fight. And I think Abdullah, at least from where we come from, already had it. Perro Miller not to go the distance. I think it's safe to say the Discord placed most of the money this week on Miller Perro. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be torn, Barry. I was going to take Barrientos over Rosas Garcia, but I'm not. I think that fight got scrapped. Am I wrong? You got to start doing. Okay, then educate me on it. I mean, I know what they are. If I showed you my book, like, is there better value in doing over and unders, guys? Like, am I missing out on money? Like, am I leaving money on the table? This is what it comes down to for me, guys. Winning percentage. Am I leaving money on the table by not doing over and unders, or are we doing pretty good on how we're doing? This is a real question. The level that we're operating at as a community, the JSB community, the level we're operating at right now, would we be operating at a higher level if I started doing over and unders? I don't know. That's all I care about. All I care about is the frequency as a team we operate at. You know what I'm saying? The work we put in, the research we have, the conversations we have, how we act when we win, how we act when we lose, and how much, it's the last thing, how much we're winning. I don't like saying that because it's never been about the money for me, but we're winning. We win a lot. So are we leaving money on the table by not doing over and unders? Answer that for me, and then I might have a think about it. Big Baby Miller. Oh yeah. Oh, he's crazy, dude. He eats. He's obese. Nathan. Yeah, that's what they're saying. He's not that slim. He's wild for trolling too. Do you think Devin can beat Hitch at 47? I hope they fight. How do you bet against Devin? Devin's a guy I don't have figured out. Devin's a guy I do not have figured out. I bet on him to beat Ryan, and he lost. On fight night, like the betters, we lost. The betters. We didn't get refunded because Ryan failed a drug test. That's one of the sad things about betting on the sport. So as a bettor, I lost. I know his BoxRec says he's undefeated, but I didn't get the money I lost. I lost. So I took Devin to beat Ryan. He lost. My bet lost. And then I took BNJ to beat Devin, and Devin looked good. After he didn't look that good against, I just think it also goes to show you confidence matters a lot with that kid. I'm not going to doubt him. Like, how do I doubt Devin? A confident, like in the ring. We know out of the ring, these guys are prize fighters, world champions. Out of the ring, they're gonna pose, they're gonna present themselves in a certain way for social media. But in a ring, when the round starts, we've seen him question himself. The JC Ramirez fight, he was questioning himself, and then we saw, him the hand speed. It's tough to go against hand speed. I'm a big Richardson Hitchens fan, though. I love his jab. I love the technique. I love a guy who he has great speed as well. Good hand speed, good foot speed. He uses the entire ring. That's a great fight, man. I don't know who I would take. I want to see how Hitchens fills out at 47. 40 to 47, that's one of the biggest jumps. When we're looking at overall historically success of guys who are coming up and the prolonged success one would have going from 40 when maybe they're a natural 35er and then they end up at 47. So I want to see what Hitchens looks like at 47. We know Dev's big. I think Hitchens is taller than Dev, though. I want to see Tiger Johnson. I'm sorry, you guys know that. I want to see Tiger fight again. I want to see him against Hitchens. I think Tiger's ready. If he's not ready, he'll never be ready. He looked great against Nick Flaz. Whatever Tiger's next fight is going to be, it will be his biggest step up. It should be. I don't want to see Tiger against any contenders. I want to see Tiger in world title fights. That's a sneaky, fun division. Again, we were kind of only 2-3 years ago when Errol Spence Jr. retires and Bud Crawford leaves to fight Madrimov and Jaron Ennis leaves to go to 54 and 47 was kind of left there like this. And now it's filled out again. There's a lot of good fights to happen there. Echo Esumon 175. I like Esumon. He's fighting not Ryan Kelly. I looked at this fight briefly. I like Esco here. Guys, we have the best community, boys. I don't care what anybody says. We got the best communities, mate. Barrionte's fight is off. Okay. I was gonna take him too. I taped Rosas Garcia, and I knew it was off. And Rosas Garcia, it was going to be his first fight in the U.S. Good record, marketable kid. Both guys are marketable, man. You know when you come to my channel, I'm not ever a guy that's going to throw away young fighters because they lost. It's boxing, guys. We're going to lose. Not everybody is Floyd Mayweather. We're going to lose, and it's betting. We're going to lose. So I like and we were getting a Barrientos at 77% return. He was $1.77. That was going to be the crown jewel of a nice parlay I was going to go heavy on. There's fights to bet on. What I need to give 3D a pep talk. I don't know what he's going through, but his channel lately, he's going through some stuff. So maybe I tell all the JSB insiders, go to Gary and give him some positive encouragement, because I don't like seeing him talk as negative as he's been talking. I don't know if he's obviously going through some stuff, but it's hard to watch. I don't like it's one of the he's one of the only content creators I watch, and I had to today I had to shut. He was being so negative about our sport. I'm like, bro, man, I get that you're frustrated, but come on, man. So go to his channel on my behest and give him a pep talk. Be like, bro, we need you being positive. He's being Debbie Downer, dude. Okay. Then I'm gonna learn. I'll look into this, boys. You guys know I'm open minded to all this stuff. I typically put overs in my long parlays and unders. All right, look, Eddie, could you then do me a favor? And whoever asked the question, was it Fresh BX about over and unders? Could you tag me in our Discord under a winning slip? I just want to see it, how it optically looks. I want to see what the odds look like and kind of get a good understand, because that's the way my mind works. Is I'm a very visual learner. For me to learn a new skill, like learn a new language or learn a new editing software, I have to see it. I see it, and then I'll practice it, and then you rehearse it, and then it's how my memory works. So just talking about doing over and unders, it would help me a lot to comprehend it, seeing it on a ticket, seeing the value, and seeing the odds, and then I'll start doing one. Do you see the Malone? Doesn't it? Am I just tripping, or does that sound like the hardest thing to do? Why? Maybe because I don't do it, but betting over and unders to me sounds impossible. So I not only now have to get right how the fights. Hold on. So I now not only have to pick the winner, I have to then say how he's going to win, and then pick the time. That sounds insane. Who does that? I'm not that good. I don't think I'm that, guys. I don't think I'm that good. That sounds way too hard. The over and unders get too complicated. I think okay. You guys are giving me a breakdown. Like guys, I'm still learning. August will be a full year of me doing this. So I'm not even a year in. So boxing, I know boxing, but like the gambling side, I'm still learning. This shit sounds really hard to me to pick the over unders, boys. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I do have to head back to the ER. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Stay tuned. We got a lot of work to do. I appreciate you guys, man. The JSB community, we're growing. We're approaching 500 JSB insiders. If you haven't already, click the link, join our team, join our squad. We got a lot of fights coming up. Best sport in the world. I appreciate you guys, man.